Hi guys, what's up and welcome to this week's video. So this week I'm going to be sharing my experience of using an e-ink phone for the first time, specifically the Boox Palma 2. So the main ways that an e-ink phone differs from a normal phone is that it has a paper-like display. It's usually black and white, sometimes limited in color, kind of like a Kindle, and it also has slower refresh rates, which makes watching videos and scrolling generally less smoother. So e-ink phones are currently on the rise because a lot of people are facing problems with traditional phones, and those problems include things like being addicted to social media apps, endless doom scrolling, and needing that constant stimulation when you're scrolling on apps like TikTok and Instagram. Not only is it causing problems in schools, but it's also causing memory and concentration problems amongst adults. So e-ink phones are designed to combat exactly that. They don't have a very colorful display, they're not as fast and snappy, so they're not as addictive. Phone does excel in things like reading, scanning documents, audio recording, and things like that. So I've been using this phone for about a week or so here is my review. The phone has a screen size of 6.13 inches, and I got the 128GB version with 6GB of RAM in the color black, but it's also available in white. The phone feels very lightweight as it only weighs about 170 grams. First impressions when turning on the phone has a very minimalistic look and feel. Looking at the home screens and generally using it, it has a very slow and relaxing kind of effect. Also, when you swipe or you tap on things to use your phone, they don't react immediately. They're a bit slower, but it's not painfully slow that you would kind of get frustrated. It just takes its time a little bit. You have pretty much all the features of a standard phone, like fingerprint recognition, speakers, audio recording, and all of that kind of stuff, which work, but they're obviously not as good as the latest flagship phone. But that's the purpose of this phone. It's not supposed to be that good. It's not supposed to be a phone that you want to stay on for a long time. It's purposely bad so that you put your phone down and get involved in the real world. Fingerprint scanner though can be a bit annoying sometimes because it's just not as seamless and it doesn't work that well when you want to get onto your phone. The phone runs on Android 13, which allows you to download and use a wide range of apps from the Google Play Store, so you can pretty much download and use any kind of app, but the performance is where everything differs. Because of the lack of color, the slower refresh rates, it's basically pointless to go on apps like TikTok or Instagram because you literally can't see anything properly. It's all black and white. There's no detail because there are just darker parts and lighter parts. So I literally didn't even use any social media app because when I opened it at first, it was just so unattractive that I just thought there's no point of even trying to view things on here. The phone does thrive when it comes to reading, editing documents. There's also Neo Reader, which is Boox's built-in reading app, and it's also packed with useful tools so you can highlight or underline insightful quotes, you can annotate things, you can translate text, and you can also use the AI assistant to help you out. So now moving on to the camera. So you have one camera at the back, which is 16 megapixels. Obviously you don't have a front camera. You're not going to be planning on taking any kind of selfies when you're using this phone. So you can take photos and videos on this phone, but they're not going to look good at all. So there's no point even taking them. The purpose of the camera is mainly for document scanning. So overall, I didn't really use the camera, maybe to scan a document here or there. So when I tried to use this phone in my day-to-day, it worked perfectly fine. You can use WhatsApp, you can take calls, you can listen to music on Spotify, and it works well there. It's just a bit slower paced, so you do get off your phone a lot quicker. But my role involves video creation, content creation, uploading things to Google Drive and things like that. So I found that it was slow and I couldn't really watch any videos or check out any photos. So I'm definitely not the target audience for this because I am within content creation. But it could be something that I can use as my general phone, and when I want to work, I can have a dedicated phone for that kind of stuff. And even receiving photos from family and friends and you can't really see them, I think it's just an integral part of our lives now, being able to view photos and videos, and this phone just doesn't support that. Also, another thing, this phone doesn't have NFC, so even when you go out, I usually use my phone to pay, but I couldn't with this phone, so it just requires a bit more carrying cards and doing other things the more traditional way because we rely on our phones for a lot. Even things like using the Tesco Club Card app, it just wasn't loading properly, and sometimes there are app compatibility issues. So it's just a very basic device. Also, it is quite a big transition. So if you're used to using the latest flagship phone, going to this phone is just like half the speed for everything, the lack of color. It is definitely a shock to the system, but it can also be nice. It can also be actually quite grounding and quite a nice experience as well. One of the plus sides though is that the battery life is generally very good. So what is my overall verdict of this phone? I've done a lot of product reviews and I love using products, but it was actually very, very, very difficult to use this phone because I just wanted to use my iPhone. Like I had it, in fact, when I got it, it was just lying there for a good few days because I used it the first time and I just didn't want to go on it, but that is what it's designed for, so I can't fault that. I think if you're somebody who really struggles with phone addiction, who's just endlessly doom scrolling, who needs a bit of discipline when it comes to their phone, and especially if you're not a content creator or you don't really need social media for your day-to-day, then this can actually be a great device. And it will be very difficult at first to use this. But do I think that e-ink phones are going to replace traditional phones anytime soon? Definitely not. I think this is for a very niche market for people who generally don't want to be that integrated with technology or who are struggling with it. But it can be a very beneficial product.